Yeah.
Is the rec department board ready?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the Board of Park Commissioners and the joint meeting with the Recreation Board for today, the April 5th. Please call the roll.
Mr. Cappers?
Here.
Mr. Emmerich?
Here.
Mrs. Westfall?
Here.
Mr. Hobart? Mr. Dunn? Mr. Jackson? Mrs. Reed? Mr. Herman?
Here.
Okay, we have our minutes of March 1st. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions of those minutes? And I will note that you have a new draft of the minutes in your
Yeah.
packet.
Yeah.
Okay, and one change.
Yep.
None here. I can make a motion.
Motion to approve by Mr. Emmerich. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They stand accepted. Thank you for making the change, Abby.
You're welcome. Sorry about that.
No problem. Reports. Mr. Drake, good afternoon. Do you have anything to add to your report, sir?
Just a few things real quick. The gazebo at Treasure Island in the pollinator habitat
Right.
has been completed. We did just install the post for the bird feeder stations. I was just talking with Tim Cox, and we're looking at getting the cameras installed that will both be pointed toward the gazebo so we can kind of watch and see what's going on with that, but then also to the bird feeders so people could eventually be able to go online and have a webcam on the bird feeders near the gazebo. The benches are in place, so that project is moving along really, really nicely. Most of that has been done by in-house staff, so they've all been very busy and done a really nice job on that project.
Jeremy, can I stop you
Sure.
for just a minute? The cameras, are they obvious, or do we need some sign out there that this area is under surveillance? Concerned
I
about privacy?
don't know that, we've already got cameras at Treasure Island. Mr. Titterington can answer that.
I can't. Thought I'd bail you out there.
Would you give her a name, please?
Patrick Titterington, 100 South Market Street.
Go right ahead.
Yes, we will have signs out there. There will be small signs, and they will warn people that they are being recorded. You don't have to sign if they're just being watched. You do if we're gonna record them, especially since we may have classes that come out there. So we will have a couple of those posted on, or mounted to a couple of the posts out there.
And I was thinking about people that are camping out there, or, not supposed to be, homeless people that might be living in the gazebo.
We do have to let them know that they are under surveillance if there's recording involved.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Drake.
Thank you. And then, just real quick then, the Robinson Reserve improvements have moved along really nicely. The 1.3 mile gravel walking trail is in. The entire reserve has been planted in the wildflower and prairie mix. So we look for those plants and so forth to start growing here relatively soon, we hope. We still need to place the benches. I believe we're getting 5 park benches throughout the reserve that they're in. We've taken delivery. We'll be installing those relatively soon, and then some additional signage that will go in as well. So
And I went out there last night and walked the whole thing, and it was
Good.
beautiful.
Yeah,
It's really
awesome.
nice.
Good,
Yeah, really
good. That's
liked
good
it.
to hear. So it is open to the
Yes.
public now.
Yes.
Just realize that we do have more improvements to come. We're not quite complete with the entire project, but the path is in and open to use.
What kind of material is the path made out of?
Crushed 411 stone with a powder, so as it gets wet, continues to pack in. It'll be a nice
So it
hard
won't be
surface.
muddy or anything
No.
like that?
No, it was really
Yeah.
nice.
And how
It was
long's
really
the loop?
compacted.
How much?
1.3 is the total of the outside loop. We do have a smaller inner loop, like a connector, that would be roughly half of that.
Okay.
If somebody got in there and didn't want to do the full outer loop.
The one area is really steep.
It is. There's some
I mean,
grade
it's like-
change for sure.
I don't think my mom's gonna be able to, that lives close to that.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, you're gonna have to probably skip that area.
Yeah, take the other loop, or even the main access lane. They could go to that, and it ties back into
Right.
the main loop. One real nice addition that's going to happen this summer yet, the County Park District's going to build 2 overlooks, wooden decks that overlook the lower wetland that was just put in. So they'll be able to access those 2 platforms from our walking path, the gravel path. So some neat additions still to come, but that project is well underway. And
Let me ask you about this steep path. Is it something that we need to put in steps? Is it that steep, or is it?
I don't know what the
Yeah, I don't know what the grade is. It's,
I mean, like an elderly person probably would struggle.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty steep grade, only on, I
Just
don't know,
coming
maybe
off of,
50
the
yards
very
worth, maybe.
north end, yeah, from the top of the hill at the very north end of the wetland, overlooking the wetland, going back down into the lower field. We had to come off of that hill some way or another. So that was the most direct, and without having to put a switch back in or something like that, that was,
How much of a hill is it?
probably, it's probably 30 feet in elevation change,
Okay. All right.
height-wise.
Thank you.
So that is in, and then one last project that we are in the works of completing, but we've kind of halted for now, is Archer Field 2, the baseball field. The player bench areas are in, the player bench covers have been built. The fences that protect the player bench areas are installed, so that field can be used. Mercer Group has installed the pitching mound. This is going to be a pony league type field, or 14U field, kind of an in-between the junior high age and then the full-size high school field. We've not had that in our inventory, so we're going to have that now. One thing we've done is held off. In the original project, we did not have the outfield being regraded as part of it. Once we were out there and started to work on it, we realized there is quite a grade differential
Yeah, it's a
from
mess.
infield to left field.
Right.
So we've held off on the outfield fencing for now, with the idea that we will get that in place once we finally get the outfield graded. But for now, the field is playable for practice and for younger groups. Once we get, funding and budgeting in line for the outfield to be graded, it will be, and that the outfield fence will go up, and then we're at, game level playing field.
Is the use of that facility scheduled through Mr. Sadler's department?
It will be, yes. Right now, and practices are still first come, first serve. Once we get it to game level with the outfield fence installed, the outfield totally graded, that will be programmed through the recreation department.
And I've walked out there a lot too, and I've seen that field, and my only concern is the older they get, it is so close to the railroad tracks. Those balls, foul balls, are gonna go over the tracks. People are gonna wanna try to go over the railroad tracks. The fencing in the back is way too small for older kids. I wish we would have moved that field out a lot farther, because we have plenty of room. I don't know why it's like right up against the
There were
track.
two things that led to that. One was the backstop that was already there. We wanted to take advantage of the backstop that was already in place.
Which is for smaller kids.
In the infield that was already in place, and then not impede the soccer field. There is a soccer field that runs north and south, basically, and if we went too much further out, then we lose a soccer field. So this way, we still get the full side, the 14U baseball field, and maintain that space for a soccer field. So there were a couple different factors that came into play with
Well,
placement.
why don't we do this? Why don't we keep our ears open on any complaints from the coaches and stuff like that, parents that.
Probably won't be
if
a
it
problem
happens.
till it's older kids playing there.
Right.
Because we've done that,
And
and
then
we
we
know
might
what
have to
that's
address it,
like.
put something in the budget about netting or something. I don't
Sure.
know. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
okay, thank you. Any questions of Mr. Drake? Mr. Seiler, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Any report from you in addition to what you've already submitted?
Nothing in addition to the report. We'll see it on the agenda as the field lining later on, so we'll talk about that at that point.
Okay, why don't we take care of that a little bit later? Mr. Kyler, good afternoon.
Hello?
Do you have anything to add to your report, sir?
No, nothing to add. We've got, well, obviously slowed down a bit the last couple of weeks due to some poor weather, but we've got all of our part-time staff in place, and looks like the weather's going to break next week, and that's when most of our league play starts, so it'll be hot and heavy pretty quick.
Okay. How about the assistant pro position?
Yep. So we're just narrowing. Well, we've got our candidate there. I'm working with HR to get the next step
Okay.
complete.
If and when that's taken care of by the next meeting, if you'd bring it to the next meeting, we'd love to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you. I don't have any planning commission report. The next item on the agenda is the review of the approve the revised field use policy concerning the field aligning fees. And I understand, Mr. Seiler, that was already approved by the rec board, and you're waiting for the approval of the park board to implement that. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Rec board approved it at their March meeting. The only proposed change to the field use policy is related to lining fees. This is as a result of the park department, the costs related to getting field paint, and actually the challenge with getting field paint at all at this point. So if you look at the top of page 3 of the field use policy, the field lining fees there, we're proposing to increase the initial lining by 50%. And then the relinings, we're looking to propose to double those relinings. And these are for soccer fields and football fields and baseball fields as well.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Seiler or Mr. Drake on this issue?
So there's an application fee and then the lining fee, is that correct? That's how I read that?
Well, there's an initial lining fee that's more, just because they have to lay out, it takes a significant amount of time to lay out the fields. And then the relinings are the application price.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mr. Herman, did you want to add anything to that? If you're bored, okay. You want to take any action?
Yeah, well, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of the rec department.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
There's a motion and second to approve the revised field use policy, field lining fees. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's hereby approved. Thank you. Okay, consideration of new business, the Troy-Miami County Public Library partnering with the Recreation Department to host the movie Mona at Treasure Island Park. Is that something you want to report on, Mr. Seiler?
It's more.
Moana, I'm sorry. Might apologize to Moana and her entire family.
We have partnered with Troy Library in the past years to do an event down at Treasure Island Park, and this year we're looking to just do one event there this summer, and it's always gone very well. It's been a good partnership with the library. It's done right at the amphitheater.
Okay. Sounds like a nice family activity. I don't see any reason why not. I'd move that that be approved.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much, Mr. Seiler.
Thank you.
Recreation Board, Eric, did you want to bring anything up for consideration at all?
No.
Okay.
We're good.
Nikki, did you have something you wanted to bring to our attention? Mr., you're pointing to
Want me
me?
to take this?
Jeremy? Okay.
Yeah, so Nikki, with the help of Stan Cagley, Nikki and myself had applied for an ODNR grant. I think we had discussed this at a park board meeting. We're now coming to the board for official approval of the design. Now that we've got, Choice One has provided a design for a parking lot. This is at 41, just going out of town to the east, right before you cross Broadford Bridge. We've got a green space that we own and maintain currently. And so the plan that you have before you from Choice One shows the parking lot. We've got construction estimates from the engineer at this point, and we'd like to move forward with securing bids to go ahead and bid this job and get it completed in 2022.
And this is something that is used every summer, at least.
Yeah, so 41 at that point is extremely busy every weekend, and especially holiday weekends. It's a put-in point. It's not been an official put-in point, but kind of in talking to the Miami County Park District, this idea came about. Why don't we just go ahead and make this an official site, provide some off-street parking, and a safer place for people to get in and out of the river. It falls right in line with all of our kind of riverfront initiatives that we've done citywide and promoting access to the river. And so this is kind of just a continuance of that whole initiative.
Is it, on the drawing, I don't see any signage for it, other than reserved parking and handicap parking, or am I missing something?
Yeah, I don't know that we've really talked about an actual official name that we're going to sign at the parking lot. One thing we did, and Mr. Kegley was instrumental in this, was we took, if you can picture the parking lot that's near ConAgra right now that access the bike path.
Yeah.
Basically, so Miami County Park District kind of has jurisdiction over that parking space. We took that size and that design basically and planted it in this green space, and that was kind of the initial design and idea for this parking lot. And similar to the Park District's parking lot that's not signed, we didn't initially plan to sign our parking lot either.
6 cars, is that what it's holding?
Yes.
Guesstimate?
Yeah, I believe 5 and then a handicap space.
Officially introduce myself. I'm Nikki Reese. I'm the Community Development Manager. You mentioned signs. We are required, because it is NatureWorks funding, to have the Cardinal logo. So there will be a sign that says funded with NatureWorks somewhere. We're not sure exactly where it's going to be placed, but it has to be placed somewhere on site as a requirement of the grant funds.
I would think it would something on 41 showing that at least it's a public park. I would think.
We could
People who park there not have to worry about it being a private lot of some sort.
We've tossed around ideas, a name for the parking lot. I mean, I've been using throughout the grant application, East Main Street, Great Miami River Access Parking Lot, which is quite a mouthful. I know it's been referenced as the Broadford Bridge. So,
Nobody
I
knows
mean,
what that is.
we're open to suggestions.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, it's a basic parking lot. We didn't want to put the bumper blocks in. That way, if someone wanted to back their canoe, kayak, trailer back into the grass, they have that option. And we apologize for bringing this to you last minute, but I just this morning got official go-ahead from ODNR with the plans, because I had to have them review them first before we could bid it out. And so,
Well, I think we preliminarily approved this some time ago. The danger is that we haven't gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. We're relying on you, Mr. Cagley and Jeremy, for fly-specking it, so to speak. So I'm okay with submitting this plan. Is that the motion you want us to make, is to approve the plan, construction plans?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Is this something that seems to be sufficient for long-term? I mean, 5 spots, is that?
We know that even right now, they already have more cars parked along the street than 5. The idea is that we help alleviate some of that. We know that we're not going to be able to accommodate with the space given every.
And we only have so much space there.
Correct,
We're
and
using
that
it
was
all.
the whole idea, is that we can't maybe accommodate every single, there is parking on the far side of the other side of the bridge too that people take advantage of.
Right,
But it's
that's
not-
what I've seen.
Not public parking.
Right, it's not public parking, but I do have seen people and then walk across.
Right. Yes.
So,
Patrick Titterington, 100 South Market.
Right.
Just a couple of points of clarification. We're asking, I think, for authorization to bid. We will need to put some signage up similar to we have in the other parks that show the rules, so people know that, you know, here's the park board rules, here's the or the codified ordinances, here's the times you can be there and can't be there, et cetera. And so we can mark it so people know that it's public parking. 5 spaces, the design, the costs, they are what they are. That's about all we can do. And so it's been in the works for a little while. Yeah, if it could be, I think we had looked at the size, given the amount of funding that would be available, as well as where we have a flat surface out there to be able to support that and make sure that we've got the drainage and we've got the access, so we couldn't get it too large.
And that area tends to flood anyway, so,
Uh,
No, it's
not that area, it's like,
It's pretty,
above it?
yeah,
Okay.
it's high enough.
so around it kind of floods.
Thank you, sir. Okay, any other discussion? Well, I'd make a motion to go ahead and approve the construction plans and the grant authorization to bid the project.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's approved.
What kind of timeline would it look like to complete it?
Fairly soon, we'd go to request for bid pretty much immediately, wouldn't we, Nikki?
So since the cost estimate is under 50,000, we don't have to publicly bid it. So
Okay.
we just need to go and get quotes from various contractors. Our preference is to do it as soon as possible. That's kind of why we rushed this as an agenda item. It wasn't officially on the agenda. So, I mean,
So
it'd be
this
nice.
summer it'll be there?
This summer is our
Okay,
game plan.
Awesome,
So,
great.
Okay. As a complicating matter, when you're talking about signage, I think there's an ordinance, city council has to approve the sign, name of the park.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we really need to make it a new park name, if that's what you wanted to do.
No.
I'm just talking about some instructional signage so that people know this is public space, these are the rules, can't be there after dusk, or, you know, when it gets dark, whatever the hours are,
That's fine.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Commission members have anything else they want to discuss? Mr. Herman, do you have anything from the Recreation Board? Mr. Kegley, did you want to say anything, sir?
Thank you, Don.
Okay. Gentlemen, you okay? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those, okay, thank you. We stand adjourned.
Right.